food. We'd take on of course meat and all that stuff had to be frozen, but we had refrigeration for that, and so we could have steak and roast beef and things like that out in the middle of the ocean.
Really? Did you have a lot of seafood, like lobster and crabs and stuff?
No, actually,
you didn't?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sure you would have gotten sick of it eventually, right?
Yeah. One of the reasons probably is it's a little harder to keep too.
It is.
To keep fresh.
That's true. Did you have plenty of supplies while on the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there something special you did for good luck?
Something what?
Was there something special you did for good luck?
Good luck? No, I don't think so. I did what I was told to do, and my good friend who was killed did what he was supposed to do too, but some of the bomb fragments from that bomb exploded when that kamikaze hit us, killed him.
What kind of entertainment did you have while on the ship?
What kind of what?
Entertainment did you have?
Oh, not much when you were out at sea because we stood watches. We stood 4 hours on and 8 hours off and 4 hours on again. So didn't have time for entertainment. But in port, they would set up a movie screen on the bow, and we put some benches out there and some chairs, and we did movies and show them.
Cool. What kind of movies did you watch?
Oh golly, I can't remember any specific, but stuff that were movies that were current at the time. I can't remember anyone in particular. But,
okay. That's good. Do you recall any particularly humorous or unusual events?
You mean on board the ship?
Yeah, or at port, wherever.
We could go when we were in port. Of course, you could when we were tied up at anchor, you could swim off the ship. I mean, you could just dive in the water and swim around. But when we were out in the forward areas, we could also take a boat to a beach. And some of those islands had real nice beaches.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we could take, and we'd take a whole boatload of people over there and spend the afternoon on the beach.
Did you ever pull pranks on any of the other sailors?
Well, I had pranks pulled on me.
Oh, they did?
When you cross, the first time when you cross the equator, you get initiated. I mean, you're a polywog before you cross the equator, and then after you have crossed the equator one time, you then are a sailback. And when you cross the international state line the first time, I forget what's your name before and after, but anyway, you got initiated. And by initiated, I mean they do all kind of stuff to you. They cut your hair off short, and whether you're an officer or an enlisted man didn't matter. Cut your hair off and squirt you with hoses and all kind of stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
But then that was once you were then after that you were more of a seasoned veteran, I guess, having crossed both. We crossed the international date line first, and that's where we had the biggest initiation. And then when we crossed the equator, the captain said that we have had that big initiation one time. He wouldn't allow that to go on again. But what we did was have a water fight. All of the people who had never been across the equator were out on the bow,
Mm-hmm.
and the people who had crossed the equator before came up there with fire hoses, and we had a water fight. That was the end of that. There was no other initiation.
Oh, okay. Do you recall the day your service ended?
Let's see, the day my service ended. Well, I was transferred off that destroyer, and I spent the last 6 months of my service at the Naval Academy, postgraduate school. They had a course there for men who would be weather officers on aircraft carriers, studying weather forecasting. And I was there when the war ended.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the war ended first in Europe, and then the war ended in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
in the Pacific. And then one by one, as we developed, well, there was a point system depending upon whether you were married or not, whether you had kids or not, how long you had been at sea,
Yeah.
things like that. And when your number of points came up, then you got out. And I was dismissed and went to I think it was somewhere in Washington. And on my final day there was mustered out. Went back to Mansfield. In fact, my actual official last day of service, interestingly enough, was December 7th, 1945. That was 4 years after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Did you join any veterans organization?
No, I didn't. There were a couple of them, American Legion for one of them, and the AMVETS were interested, but I never did.
Okay.
And I was not in the reserve either. I would have been. They established a Naval Reserve unit in Mansfield and set it up, but there were only room on there for 4 officers, and they picked older men. I was still pretty young. I was still only in 1943 or 44. I'm only 24 years old. But they picked older men. One of them had been a principal of a high school and so forth. I kind of lost interest in it. And when I first had the opportunity then to get out of the reserve, I did.
Okay. Do you ever attend reunions?
Navy reunion?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, so, okay.
I subscribed to a book or to a paper which I don't get anymore. It was called the Tin Can Sailor, and they advertised lots of reunions. And I think there were a couple advertised for my ship, but I never went to one of them.
Okay. What did you go on to do as a career after the war?
Well, I studied chemistry, so I applied for a job as a chemist at the Mansfield Tire and Rubber Company. And I got a job there. And I started out as a rubber chemist. I don't know, you probably don't know much about the rubber industry, but
Not at all.
But tires are made of rubber, and you have to, and the rubber has to be mixed. It's more like the bakery where you have a recipe for the rubbers, and you put carbon black in it, and you put different oils and lubricants and so forth in there, and mix it up in a big mixer. It's like a big dough mixer, a big Banbury mixer. A big mixer is like mixing dough.
Mm-hmm.
And the rubber then is when it comes out of there, is in a form that can be then extruded and put on fabric and so forth to make the plies and the tread of the tire.
Okay.
I worked there for quite a while. In fact, I ultimately was the manager of that plant.
How did your service and experiences affect you after?
Oh, golly, I don't think it ever really influenced my career, but it sure influenced some friendships. I mean, I knew some people who, one man in particular, that if you weren't a veteran, you were not a friend of his.
Really?
Yeah. But having never joined a veterans organization, it never really influenced or affected my career. I don't think, anyway.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to add that we haven't gone over?
Well, let's see. Can't think of much. Tell me a little about yourself. Where are you in school?
I go to Clover Hill with Jordan.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And what year?
I'm a junior.
Junior?
Yep.
What are your plans?
Oof. When I go to college, I would like to do pre-veterinary sciences.
Oh.
Because I want to be an animal rehabilitator.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's going to be tough because, it's super competitive. But I'm really competitive, so hopefully it'll work out.
Let's see. Mrs. Fox's, this would be her cousin, is a veterinarian.
He is too?
Huh?
He is? Where does he work?
Is, yeah.
Oh, she.
Her name is Katie, and she lives in New York, and I can't remember the name of the town.
Oh, okay.
She started out as a big animal vet.
Really? Yeah, that's what I would like to get into.
She graduated, and she helped cows give birth and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But then she, I don't know, can't remember exactly what brought it around, but now she is, I think maybe she owns it, is a pet animal hospital.
Mhm. Ooh.
Takes care of, cats, dogs, and small animals.
Yeah. Well. That's really cool. That's good for her.
Where do you want to go to school?
I would like to go to school. I would like to stay on the East Coast, but I don't really have a preference. I could go anywhere. Yeah.
Well, I wish you best of luck. It's expensive.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
The bad part about it, kids now seem to end up when they graduate from college, they get big student loan debt.
Yeah, exactly. My sister, though, she's in college, and she got 2 full rides. And now,
she did?
Yeah, and so, because she's a genius. So she had a full ride to her undergrad, and then a full ride to her master's. And now she's in France, and she's teaching English in France. And she's going to do that for a year. And I don't know, she's probably going to stay there because she loves France so much. And I'm never going to see her again. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go visit her all the time.